you definitely gotta stand up for yourself. And I think saying no sometimes is a really hard thing to learn, but it's really important.
Wait, wouldn't you agree when the more of the jobs that you do for, like when they're not, the fun stuff, there's a difference between fun stuff and jobs, but wouldn't you agree, I feel like you would agree with this, that the more of the jobs that you do where you feel like you're being taken advantage of at the time, they take longer, and and let's say a couple of years go by where you've like lined up all this really, really low paid work just because you're being so nice, you know, and then you don't have time to do anything like this, you know, because you're spent. So wouldn't you agree that if you can be wiser about what you take on and what's appropriate for you to take on financially, if it is work, you've got more time to do the fun stuff, you know, because you do have the weekend off, you know, because you're not like spreading yourself like butter. So if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense.
I completely agree. Also, even if you do have a fat budget for a wall, it may seem really fat at the time, but after you rent the lift, you rent the paint sprayer, you get all the paint and the materials, you buy your food, you're like, dang, where'd my budget go?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, you really gotta plan it out. Even if it seems hella fat at the time, it might not even cut it. So ask for what you want, you know, ask for what you need is really, it's a hard thing to do for a lot of people, but it's so important.
Yeah, and one of the things, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say one more thing. The mural rate is a square footage rate. I just wanted to clarify that. So it's, I take the width of the wall, the height of the wall, times the 2, get the square footage, and then times that by my mural rate.
Right, see? Equations.
Yeah, so you just have, so it doesn't matter what size it is, you just have a very simple math equation you can do right in front of the client, and then it's not like you're coming with some obscure number from the dark, you like did it right in front of them, like this is my rate, I don't know how much it's gonna be, let's do it together. And then it's often pretty high, I mean, it depends on how big the wall is, but like Agana said, people have a misconception about how much it costs to do these things. So.
Right. Yeah.
Also, one more thing.
Yeah, cipher up.
There's all these really dope, like, urban explorer photographers these days, too. They're really tight that I'm actually friends with some of them, but then sometimes you see pictures of your work being sold at galleries or in books, and you're like, what's up with that? I'm not getting a percentage of that, you know? So it's just like, you really gotta watch your back out there.
The gray area, you want to add to your, anything about pricing? So now that you got it? You don't have to.
Yeah, not really.
Okay, we'll
I guess I already agree with like what everyone said here today, but lately my thing is kind of what Deb was saying, like I just get used to saying no now, and it's not to be mean, but it's like I don't want to burn out or experience burnout, so
no, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
You get really sick when you like spread yourself out there.
Yeah.
So it's not,
so in order to do the projects I really want and the projects I really enjoy, I just say no to like almost everything now. So you're not a dollar bill, you're not meant to be liked by everyone, just say no, that's it.
Right, and also part of the business of it, I mean, I love how you guys go in depth, like you have an equation, you guys have so much experience that you have it down to where, you know, the equation is determined already, the price, they see that. So they're arguing with themselves when it comes to that. It's like, you didn't throw out this number. They showed you their size. They showed you their vision. And then you go, okay, well, let's put it in numbers. And let them wrangle with themselves as opposed to like wrangling with you. And one of the things that's, you know, we learn when you go from just doing art to doing it like a business, those things, contracts, equations, paper trails, following up, saying how to say thanks but no thanks, because maybe that client will learn from what you told that person. Like they may come at you sideways first, but you educate them in a nice way and then make them feel like you can just burn them down. They'll come back at you 5 years later with a proper budget, perhaps.
Sometimes they really do.
Yeah.
It's definitely happened.
They're so bad about it that they're like, what day can I get back to this person I feel like before?
Yeah, you can educate them. But also the big one too, with what you're saying, Agana, with the whole, you know, big budget and then all your expenses, is really identifying and understanding the difference between gross and net. You know, and that's with artists all across the board. Like, you know, I deal with rappers and they'll be like, got a show for $5,000. You know, like, great. They think $5,000 in their pocket. And it's like, no, there's a booking fee, there's a manager fee, tour management fee, you pay for hotels, you pay for, and then so gross is 5, but your net's 12. You know, you have to understand that when you're pricing your work too, because you know, you get a gig like for 50 grand, and you're like, dang, you think just 50 grand alone is amazing. But if you're there for 3 weeks and you got 4 lifts, and it's 110-degree weather, and you know, like, you know, God forbid you have kids and you have, you know, child support or whatever it is, you got daycare, whatever you're paying for. So all of that is really important. You guys nailed it.
Also, don't forget about taxes too.
There you go.
So many times I've like had big chunks come in.
Spend lots of money, get lots of receipt, get your friends to give them.
Right off galore. Yeah, you can
Save
run
all your receipts.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool ways to do that. You can. Do any of you guys have any financial guidance or mentors or planners or any of that? Bank accounts, credit cards, health insurance. I mean, these are things like it's hard. You know, it's grown-up shit. Like a lot of us, like I don't want to grow that much, but.
I'm not the most responsible person with money, but recently I have met a really cool lady who is a grant writer for me. She's actually how I started Graffiti Camp for Girls, and she will actually take all the money we spent, put it in a folder, and she likes doing these things. So if you can find like an assistant or someone to help you with all these things that you don't want to do, I mean, in a perfect world, right? But I don't know what happened to me. If I did it, you can do it.
Right.
Also, biting the bullet and learning to do that stuff it's been really a learning curve for me for sure. I always have struggled with math and with numbers my whole life. I love numbers, but I struggle with that stuff and paperwork. This year marks like the first year where I've gotten more serious about it, and I've started trying to make it fun.
Right.
Because that's the only way, and I feel like if you can be responsible for your own finances and not have to depend, managers are awesome, galleries are awesome, but if you don't have to depend on them to do all of your books, and if they don't control it all, you are in control of your own life and your own career and your own career path.
Right.
And that can elevate others as well. So.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want to get in a situation where you are just making money. You're just doing murals, you're doing commissions, you're making all this money, and you're not paying any taxes and nothing. And 7 years later, when you think you were in the clear, they've kicked you, and all of a sudden you got $60,000 worth of tax debt. And you have no idea how to start with that. And then you go back to that first, you're like, damn, if I'd have just put aside something. You know, and so I've seen this happen a lot on the music side, because fools will rack up money for years and think they're cool, and then tax hit them, and now they don't, you know, I don't have an attorney, I don't have an accountant, and it's just, that's where the whole bankrupt thing kicks in, and then, you know, so it's like, we're trying to share the preventative maintenance of some of the things that we've experienced and seen.
She just answered it all.
Okay, so we'll go to the next question. But so, in all this is the very important, like how do you balance your time, like creation time, right? Being an artist, channeling as a medium that you guys are with your talents, with business handling, paperwork, following up, mailing lists, all the unsexy part of being a professional artist. Like how do you balance that time? Because it's almost different sides of the brain, right? Like your creative brain does not want to do that shit.
Do it with enormous anxiety. You just pick a day and you're like, today's gonna suck. It's gonna be horrible. There's gonna be this day where like this whole table is gonna be full of paper and envelopes and numbers and a whole lot of bullshit that I never want to do, and I have to eat a lot of ice cream, and I'm just gonna have to like, I don't know, it's just whatever you do to get through that day, and I've been pushing that day back for a long time. So I am the example of somebody that is programmed to think creatively like 99.999%, you know? So anytime I do anything like that, it's just like, I'm melting, it's horrible, you know? And I think that a lot of artists feel that way, and there's no way of saying this. It's just not nice. Like when you have to do it, it sucks. But you have to do it. You have to do it. You have to find it within yourself, the strength to do your taxes and somehow get it done. I just can't sugarcoat it. It's horrible.
I know. I think making things as fun as possible is really the key in most things in life. And lately, with emailing, like email, really, if you don't keep up with your email, things get lost in the web and the network, and it's really hard to find them. And sometimes it's like an important client or something you don't want to miss. And so I got a really awesome moleskin planner. It's the only one I've ever been able to be consistent with. It has a little rubber band around it. It's awesome. I love holding it in my hand. There's something about it that I just love. I'm like, where's my planner? I want to get my planner out. And I've started being creative in my planner, like doing things to encourage me to use it more, make it more fun. And with my emails to clients, I've been trying to sass them up a little bit, make them a little more fun, make it fun for me to write them, because they have to get written, they have to get done, so why not enjoy yourself when you're doing it? The last thing I'll say about this is, I think it is, I lost my train of thought.
It was something in it.
Yeah, I have a similar thing. I have a journal where I jot down ideas and stuff and have checklists and goal lists, and I at least try to get through a couple of them for the week. And then, I feel like I can do whatever else I want to do as long as I get like a couple of those like chore type things out of the way. So I just like be easy on myself, but also, make sure that I'm doing the things that I need to do so I'm caught up.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to re-soak your sponge and like get back to your creativity when there's so much going on. Oh my God, what was the question?
How do you manage your time and your emotions when you have, between being an artist and creating purely, and then the underbelly of the business stuff, like the paperwork, the following up, the contracts, negotiations, taxes, whatever that stuff is?
I think you definitely don't have to do it alone. Like, there's a lot of people that want internships out there that want to know about the art business and are willing to help you. I've definitely had some like really dope young interns in my life that they just want to know more about what you're doing, and they're like, whatever you want me to do, like let me know. And so it's kind of like each one teach one, they get some knowledge and you get some help, but definitely reaching out, like you don't have to do it alone. It's hard though, like branding yourself, there's so many aspects, but my bad, yeah.
No, you did good. So how do you guys feel about social media? How does it help and how does it hinder you guys? Hold on, wait a minute. Everybody take out the Snapchat hashtag real quick.
So yeah, social media is obviously a great tool for networking and showing your work, but it's also super time hindering. It's like, it takes up a lot of space, a lot of time. I personally get agitated that I have to come up with like all these hashtags to like describe my work, but it feels like the responsible thing to do. But I hate it. I absolutely despise it. And like Bud was saying, like it's one of those things where you have to just try to make it fun and like throw your sense of humor in there and have fun with it. But yeah, I hate doing stuff on the internet. I think it sucks. But it's something that I have to do because it's how people see your work nowadays. And like I'll do like a painting, say out in public, and I'll be talking to my friend and they'll be like, oh, I saw your painting. And I'm like, oh, sick, like, da-da-da. And then you find out, oh, they just saw it on the phone, and it's not the same feeling, but I don't know, it's like you have to be in this day and age, like you have to do this shit on your phone. That's just the way it is. And what else was the question? Is that it?
Just how does it help and how does it hinder? You nailed it all on the head.
Okay.
I love social media. I think it's really fun. The thing I forgot, last question, I remembered, and it kind of ties into this, and that is, life is so balanced, I feel like we're emotionally balanced already. as people in a weird way. I think that if we listen to ourselves, if we like take 10, 15 minutes every day to just quiet your mind, whatever you want to call that, meditation, whatever, take that time to get aligned within yourself and then just feel out your day. Like, that's the coolest thing about working for yourself, is that you can kind of just feel out your day and do what you want whenever you want. And there's not every moment of every day do I want to be painting a mural, you know? There's many times during the day where I feel like downtime is important, being on my email is important, where I naturally gravitate to that. It's when you start forcing yourself into a regimen and an hour by hour system, doesn't work for me. I can't say it for anybody else, but it doesn't work for me. I like to work when I'm inspired, whether that's emailing or painting or dressing up or like whatever I want to do. I like to do it when I feel like doing it, because that's when you're most inspired to make the best connection with your client, is when you feel like writing them an email, when you feel inspired to write them an email. And I'm not saying just like keep them off forever, like obviously follow up and write lists and keep your planner, but work when you're inspired.
I think social media is like a double-edged sword kind of thing, personally. I have moments where I love it. I'm thankful for it because I get a lot of my work from it, and met a lot of interesting people from it. I just think it's one of those things where the whole day has gone by and you've been like, oh shit, I've been on my phone like 80% of the day, you know, like also just from like answering questions and emails, and takes me an hour to figure out what I want to say for every Instagram post, you know, because I'm just like, I do want to make it fun, and then I'm like, it's taken an hour to figure out like 3 hashtags, so it can really be time consuming, and then I'm too nice, like people will inbox me and I'm like, I just feel the need to like respond, but I know that I don't need to respond, but then I don't know, be like, she's a bitch and respond, but it's like, I don't really technically have to respond, you know, so it's kind of like, I can never find that fine line. And then Instagram has things that kind of like also get really annoying now. There's like all these ads and Facebook's all spammed out, and you know, but it's like you still use it because you love it. It's like, so they've kind of got you by the balls, right? So it's like, it's just kind of like, I see good sides and bad sides, but it will be ruled out by the good side, because I think it's super helpful. You get to put your work in one click of a button.